Hi, I'm Judy Copenbarger, and welcome. If you've been thinking at all about your retirement, you've come to this distinction between a 401k and an IRA, an IRA. Which one is best for you? We'll take a look at that right after this. So, which one is best, 401k or an IRA? And what are the real differences between them? Well, the first difference between a 401k and an IRA is how the money actually becomes contributed to your plan or to your account. A 401k must be established by an employer, so if you own a business or if you're an employee of the business, you can have a 401k. The way the money goes into your account is required to be payroll deduction. So every time you earn a paycheck, you can have a percentage or a certain amount of dollars go into your account. It has to happen through work. An IRA, however, can happen independently. You can have a self-directed IRA or a personal IRA. The IRA can be either a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. So your IRA doesn't have to go through a payroll deduction at work. It can actually be done anytime throughout the year or even early in the year after you've earned the money. But IRS does require that you have earned income in order to contribute to a traditional IRA. If you contribute to a Roth, you're going to pay tax now, but it will grow tax-free and there's no tax later. If you contribute to a traditional IRA, you don't have to pay tax now, but when the money comes out in distribution later, you're going to have the tax. So let's look at some of the other distinctions, the other big differences between a 401k and an IRA. So your 401k is governed by ERISA, E-R-I-S-A. That's the Employee Retirement Income Security Act. It actually came up in 1974, and it's about any pensions, any retirement plans, and any benefits you might have through your payroll deduction at work. They're all governed by ERISA to make sure that the consumer is protected. In an IRA, we don't have that protection, but we have different rules for things like taxation and different rules for things like how you get the money out. Like, can you take a loan? So for a 401k, it's very different from an IRA, so pay attention. You can take a loan from your 401k if the 401k provider, the third-party agent, allows you to. So remember, a 401k is a contract between your employer and the person they have managing it. So this can vary from company to company, from program to program. So if it's allowed, your 401k will allow you to borrow money for any purpose, but you have to pay yourself back. You're going to need to pay yourself back within 3 years, and you've got to pay yourself back interest. So it can be, again, a payroll deduction, where you either have initial contributions going in every time you get a paycheck, or you pay yourself back that loan over time with every single paycheck. That's the 401k. An IRA is a little bit more strict in the IRS's requirements when you take a loan. But there are ways you can get money out of an IRA before you're of age, which currently is 59 and a half. There are ways that you can take an exception without having to pay a penalty or what we would call an excise tax. So let's go through that list of potential reasons that are qualified exceptions for you to borrow from your IRA. Here's a list of those exceptions. If you have medical expenses that are not otherwise reimbursed, if you need to pay your health care premiums at work, you can do that with IRA contributions. If you have a permanent disability, you can get money out to cover those expenses that are health related. You can pay a percentage of college, post-secondary education through an IRA withdrawal that's early without having to pay the excise tax. But there are limits on post-secondary education loans from an IRA. For spouses, you can take an inherited IRA from a spouse who has passed before you. You can take that money out without having to pay additional excise taxes. If you're going to build a home or buy a home, you can borrow money from your IRA without paying that extra tax, but it's limited to $10,000. So unless it's a very small house or a very small home improvement, you're not going to get very far these days with a $10,000 loan. If you want to take distributions before you're 59 and a half, and for some reason you're able to retire early, there's a way to do that, and we call that the rule of 72T. 72T allows you to take periodic distributions over at least 60 months, even if you're not 59 and a half. And if you promise to take an ordinary distribution that's already set out by the contract, IRS is going to limit that tax and they're going to waive that penalty that you would ordinarily have to pay. So if you're blessed enough to retire early, 72T is one that you want to tuck away. It's awesome. If you owe the IRS money, they allow you to take money from your IRA to pay the IRS. Let's do that again. If you owe the IRS money, Uncle Sam's going to allow you to take money from your IRA to pay them back. Isn't that gracious of them? I don't recommend it, but it is allowed, and you wouldn't have to pay additional tax on your tax bill. And then the last exception is if you have active duty, if you're a military family and you are called to active duty, if you need to pull money from an IRA, you're allowed to do that without having to pay an excise tax. So those are your exceptions. Remember, you have to have a good reason that is exempted under an IRA to take money early without having a penalty. If it's a 401k, you don't really need a reason. It can be, if your plan allows it, you can take it for any reason, but remember, you do have to periodically pay it back. So another consideration for you to tuck away is the difference in how much money you can put away in a 401k and an IRA. Very different rules. If you're putting money into an IRA, the IRS limits you to $6,000 per year. So that's $500 a month for a whole year if you contribute monthly. But if you are 50 years old or older, you can put an extra $1,000 in. So that means you have $7,000 a year you can add to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. And that's current laws. If you're watching this years from now, make sure you look at current laws because they do periodically change. The great thing to know about a 401k is you can put more money in there. You can put more money in there that you don't have to pay tax on right now. This year's limit is $19,500. And if you're 50 years old or older, you can add another $6,500 to that. So you could be putting $26,000 away if you're 50 or older. It's an amazing way to catch up and get those accounts beefed up to make sure when you're ready to retire, you can live the way you want to and have plenty of money set aside to achieve your goals. So there you have it. Those are the major differences between a 401k and an IRA. So if you have any questions about taking out 401k money, taking out IRA money, in the event that you get laid off, the IRA will not be impacted by being laid off. Remember, all you need to have is at least enough earned income in the year to make your contribution. However, there are specific requirements and specific things you're going to want to know if you get laid off with a 401k. Can I keep putting money in? Do I have to leave my money there? Can I take it? Should I take it? All those questions are answered in our video that talks exactly about what do I do in the event of being laid off with my 401k. Make sure you watch that one if that's a concern for you. So now you know everything you need to know about the distinctions between a 401k and an IRA, right? All right, I've done my part. Now it's time for you to do your part. I would love to hear your comments. I'd love to get your questions. Make sure you comment. Ring the bell so you can be notified of all the upcoming great videos that are coming your way, and give us a like. Have a wonderful day. This is Judy Copenbarger, and we'll see you next time.